This is part 2 of our ranking of every episode in season 23 of Family Guy. So if you haven't seen part 1, be sure to go check that out before coming back to see which episode was our favorite. And Brian would make an attempt to do good with his new boat in Roe v. Wade, where Peter's face also becomes a work of art. So it's expired beer day at the Clam, meaning we're about to see new levels of drunkenness never before known by man.
Shots? I'm down.
I think you could shoot the guy straight in the liver and it wouldn't do nearly as much damage as what this bender is about to do. And several hours later, the guys wake up and they're home away from home, the gutter.
Hey, you've got some kind of drawing on your face.
Hey, a mustache in hand isn't the worst body part you could have drawn on you when you're passed out, but this is no ordinary face doodle.
I think that might be a Banksy.
A what?
A Banksy.
For those not in the art world, Banksy is a provocative and anonymous artist who often creates his work in public places. But it looks like he's gone from places to faces.
Don't wash it off. It's probably worth a lot of money.
Speaking of money, Brian and Stewie are attending a Price is Right taping to see if they can win a little for themselves.
Brian Griffin, come on down!
Ah! It's me! It's me!
I guess he learned to forgive all those years of Bob Barker asking people to snip their dogs' unmentionables. And luckily for Brian, he wins big time.
Brian Griffin, you've won today's Showcase Showdown.
I want a boat!
Oh, good. Brian's unlocked a new personality now.
Hey, anyone happen to catch the dew point this morning? It's super important that I know that now.
Not saying I hope Brian Titanics himself, but it would make the breakfast table much quieter and nowhere near as annoying. Meanwhile, Banksy's art piece is starting to stir up quite a bit of attention, so much so that Peter's face becomes a hot commodity.
It's not often that a museum gets to display a Banksy. We'd love for you to come be an exhibit at the museum.
Sounds tempting, but you might want to promise him his face won't turn to shreds like the last Banksy piece featured in a museum. And so Peter becomes a literal work of art.
Is the Charleston chew in his pocket part of the art? No, he shouldn't have that.
It ain't easy being graffiti, but things are about to get even bigger for Peter.
Would you ever consider going up for auction?
How would that even work?
Well, the winner would have you go and exist as part of their private collection.
Back at home, Stewie calls out Brian for his pompous ways, calling him a hypocrite for not being against consumerism now that he owns a boat.
Would an opportunistic piece of crap call his boat this?
As a matter of fact, that's the exact image they use when you look up opportunistic piece of crap in the dictionary. Thought that was a weird inclusion, but it all makes sense now. But Brian decides to put his boat where his mouth is and do some political good.
I'm gonna take the Roe v. Wade to Texas and bring back women who want to safely have abortions.
What a champion of the people. You just know he's already got a lame Instagram caption roaring and ready to go. But back on dry land, Lois is obviously against Peter selling his body in the name of art.
I like our life, and frankly, I want to see it go back to the way it was before this stupid painting.
But Peter decides to go through with it anyway, which means Lois needs to go full-on climate change protester to stop him.
You're not going anywhere. If I have to live out this miserable life, I'm not doing it alone.
Glad to see their relationship is still built around love rather than bitter self-hatred, but apparently Banksy knew this would happen. It's all part of the art.
It's a comment on capitalism as a dividing force in marital relationships.
Yeah, sure, why not? Art's what you make of it, I suppose. That's why we're working on getting one of our videos hung in the Louvre. The first piece of art to make negative dollars, they tell us. Meanwhile, on his Texas mission, Brian discovers just how well a boat, the sea, and a bunch of pregnant women mix. Just about what you'd expect. But when Brian realizes that he owes $40,000 in taxes for the boat, he decides to pivot the plan.
You know, there's a law in Texas that if you turn in someone who's trying to get an abortion, they give you 10 grand.
Values are still as malleable and fragrant as wet poop. Never change, Brian. Never change. This was a fairly decent episode, though we do think much of the comedy was kinda weak this go-around. A shame, because the two plots definitely have a lot of potential, but they go in the most obvious directions that even having a stronger comedic tongue definitely would have made this episode more forgivable. But the setups are still great, particularly on Peter's end, while Brian's moral fragility once again makes him a guy you can love and hate. But the show would parody two movies the writers obviously loved when Fat Gun took on both Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. So pilots from around the world have gathered to take part in Top Gun, a super important and important flight school.
Good luck tomorrow. You guys are gonna need it. Come on, Slider, let's get some air.
Yes, it was an era of aviator shades, spiked hair, and dangerously high levels of testosterone. But the only thing Maverick seems concerned about is winning the favor of the woman across the bar.
How much you want to bet I can sleep with her tonight?
Come on, Mav. I said I wasn't going to do one of our bets until my parents left.
Well, don't leave them out of the bet. See what kind of cash they have to throw in. But the woman Mav tries to seduce isn't just any woman.
Here to talk about that now is our civilian specialist and tag rep. Codename Charlie.
What? A woman who knows things? We were supposed to act all surprised by this back in the 80s. So after some obscenely oily volleyball games, it's time to get these pilots off the ground and into the air.
Whoever wins today wins Top Gun. Good luck.
What exactly are they doing? Beats me, but anytime you're in the air, you gotta have the right song choice, even if it means putting you and your co-pilot's life in danger.
Just a little bit more, and got it.
But Maverick seems plenty capable of killing people himself.
Now let's just pull on 2.
On or after 2!
Another goose senselessly killed by a plane. When will geese change their ways and start flying economy like the rest of us? Depressed over what happened, Maverick decides to run away and do some soul searching for a few decades until Hollywood decides it's time for another Top Gun.
So is this still Top Gun? No, this is Top Gun Maverick. It's completely different and exactly the same.
Are you telling me there's another crop of pilots that need to be trained to take on another unnamed hostile country? Look, Family Guy can't be throwing jabs at unoriginality while they're literally doing a parody right now.
Oh, there's one other thing you should know. One of the pilots you'll be training is Goose's son.
Neat! You don't think he's still mad about the whole killing his dad through a super preventable tragedy thing, do ya?
Any other questions not about Star Wars?
Why'd you kill my dad?
No more questions.
Maverick and Rooster manage to pull the mission off, but Maverick ends up getting shot down.
This is totally main feed material.
Maverick, no!
Looks like he needs to save him, but really, he probably just wants to save the picture. If you just saved America and don't have a picture to commemorate it, did it really happen? But when Rooster goes to save him, they both end up getting kidnapped by the true villains of the story.
Hello, Maverick.
You guys are the bad guys? Why?
Why do you think?
Luckily, Maverick talks his way out of this through his very legit religion.
I can help you go clear and liberate the Thetan trapped inside your astral shell.
Is that like horoscopes?
Yeah, sure, let's go with that. That makes it sound a little less weird. Maverick and Rooster manage to escape, but the scorned women are hot on their trail. This calls for some help from an old rival turned friend turned heartwarming movie cameo. Man, I can't wait to see the adventures the three of them are gonna get up.
Oh, he died again.
Family Guy loves their movie parodies, and honestly, this one wasn't half bad. The characterization of these movie characters and little bits like trying to get a volleyball with a jet are all pretty solid. We think a lot of the jokes manage to land even if you don't have previous knowledge of the Top Gun films, but it makes the episode even better if you do. Certainly one of the better parody episodes of the last few years, and one that actually made us want to watch Top Gun again. And Stewie would make Brian travel with him to China to meet Rupert's real parents in the episode China Doll. So Brian really wants to show Stewie his magnum opus. And don't worry, it isn't his latest manuscript.
It's a hole.
Right? I was in the zone, man.
Well, it's definitely deeper than anything Brian has ever written, so I guess he's a good boy. But he may not be a living boy for very long.
What the hell? You buried Rupert?
Look, don't be weird about it, man. Brian just asked Rupert if he wanted to check out his hole. Nothing wrong with that. But as Stewie gets Rupert all cleaned up, he notices something about him he never had before.
Made in China? Rupert, you're Chinese?
Has Stewie really never seen the back of Rupert? Well, I guess he's one of those guys who loves a lot of eye contact. But now Stewie gets to live his dream of being in an interracial relationship.
Why you dress like that?
Oh my god, that is such a year of the monkey thing to ask, right, Rupert?
Oh, he's going full-on Chinese otaku, isn't he? Or Jinan, as Google tells me. But while that roughly means someone who doesn't leave the house, Stewie wants to take Rupert to where he's from.
You want to see your homeland again. You want to find your parents.
Sure, what's one casual flight to China for your teddy bear? I did the same thing with my wife when we went to Japan. So Brian tags along and they manage to find the factory Rupert was made at and I guess what you could call Rupert's parents.
I'm going to ask their blessing to marry Rupert.
What?
Finally, no more situationship. It's about time Stewie put a ring on it. Though I get Rupert not having fingers may have slowed that down.
There's someone here who'd like to say hello.
Okay.
Yes, it's your son, Rupert!
Well, even though this is about as heartwarming as a block of ice, Stewie is all ready to meet his booze folks, even if they don't understand a lick of what he's saying.
Feel free to cry, makes for better video.
Okay.
We have so much to talk about.
So they decide to do that with a forced entry dinner with these poor factory workers. However, some of Stewie's words don't sit right with the Chinese surveillance state.
Someone hands me a China cup, I look away, right? Down with China, you know? Down with China.
Look, if you want to talk like that, you gotta do it from the safety of a Twitter account with an anime profile picture. Unfortunately, neither of these two fit that description.
You're under arrest.
The charge is espionage against China.
So the three of them become Chinese jailbirds, forced to do hard manual labor.
The hard labor is watching the movie Tar?
And answer questions about the film.
Joke's on you, I actually like that movie. But Brian and Stewie aren't, so they'll need a genius high-tech plan to escape.
Come on. My plan had science in it, but fine, let's do it the dirty dog way.
So the two are chased all throughout China, but end up getting caught once again.
You've only made things worse. You should know by now. There's only one way out of a Chinese prison.
Normally, it would just take a fun little musical number, but this isn't a Road 2 episode. So what else could it take?
Rat out someone else.
Well, that's what Chris gets for disrespecting Brian's hole. The one he dug. Not the... Look, don't put words in my hole. Mouth! Let's just move on. We think this was definitely one of the better episodes of the season. The narrative was nice and focused, with some nice callbacks to moments earlier in the episode that play a significant role in the story. We'd say this is probably one of the funnier episodes of the season too, with some solid one-liners and a lack of emphasis on too many stereotypes about China. They're still there, but the show definitely knows how to use them the right way. Still kinda wishing this was the latest Road 2 episode so we could've gotten a new musical number. And Meg's wish to escape her family leads her to sign up for a mission to Mars in the episode Martian Meg. So Meg makes an attempt to have some mother-daughter time with Lois with some concert tickets.
Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetie, but I'm busy that day.
I haven't said what day it is yet.
Yeah, that's usually a pretty stuffed day for me too. Forget Mondays, this is the day Garfield should have the infernal hatred for. Elsewhere, a little hottie catches Stewie's eye at the drugstore.
I like your horn? Is that okay to say?
Sure, you can look, but you can't touch. Very disrespectful to the unicorn community. So Stewie brings the stuffed animal home, and the two of them, along with Rupert, really seem to hit it off.
Guys, are we a throuple?
I guess so, whether those stuffed animals or us watching at home like it or not. And after Meg strikes out with both Quagmire and Herbert, she just decides to go to the show by herself.
Mom? What are you doing here? I thought you were busy.
I'm sorry, there was a group on.
Glad to know that a few bucks are worth more to Lois than Meg's love. I mean, I get it. Can't put love in a 401k. So a distraught Meg leaves the concert, only to find her calling via a recruitment for people to go to Mars. Take it away, Meg Bowie.
Is there life on Mars?
David Bowie may be glad he's gone so he didn't have to subject his ears to that. Surprisingly, Lois is pretty accepting of Meg's decision. Okay, maybe not surprisingly. We did just see her ghost her daughter to go to an event her daughter was already going to.
When your child rebels, you can't push back or they'll double down. You just stay supportive.
Funny, you used this exact same logic seasons ago and it almost led to Meg having her teenhood ruined by Quagmire. Whatever parenting book you're reading needs to be used as firewood. So Meg begins her astronaut training, covering the essentials like having something cool to say when you step foot on Mars.
Did I do that?
Not bad. We would also have accepted what's up.
The 90s haven't happened on Mars yet, so those references are going to be a hit with the Martians over there. Back at home, Stewie quickly starts to learn that the throuple life isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Oh god, I can't breathe.
I'm not up to date on throuple rules. Why is this bad? Is this a flag? A fumble? Do the refs let them take their gloves off and punch each other for a bit? So Stewie tries to tackle this issue head on before anyone gets too carried away.
It's Rupert and Maiden. Eventually it'll be Stewie and Maiden. And then Rupert, you're gonna feel like the lonely left out piece of no one wants.
So Stewie decides to take more drastic measures to preserve his relationship with Rupert.
You see? You did this, Rupert.
So, Stewie's one of those kinds of lovers. I've told Rupert before that he needs his own bank account, and after this display, he'd better make sure he's ready to run at a moment's notice. Elsewhere, Meg is chosen as the sole astronaut to go to Mars, and suddenly Lois has an issue with that.
Meg, you can't go to Mars.
You can't talk me out of this, Mom. I'm going.
But as the date of the launch gets closer, Meg actually thinks she's gonna miss her family.
Too bad you can't back out now. You'd be widely hated, and deservedly so.
Yeah, very much unlike her current standing in the world. But on the day of the launch, Lois tunes in to Meg's true feelings.
Oh my god, she doesn't want to go. We gotta call off the launch.
Yeah, the government can just tax the crap out of Quahog to make up for the money lost anyway. But when Lois is unable to halt the launch, she decides to let parental psychosis take over.
Mom?
Nobody shoots my baby into space.
And trust me, a lot of people have tried. But she's too late to stop the rocket from taking off. Thankfully, that extra bit of weight she added throws it off course and into the water.
I'm sorry you won't get to go to Mars.
And I'm sure every Martian gladly thanks you for your act, Lois. We think this one was pretty solid, aside from one joke that went on way too long. This managed to be a fairly funny episode that actually gets resolved in a wholesome way through the love of a mother and daughter. Plus, that Stewie side story's pretty good too, even if it's a bit of a retread of his fling with Oscar and Quagmire's Quagmire. Kinda ironic that Meg has some of the better episodes of this season. The Meg doubters stay losing, but someone from the cast ends up losing their life in The Fat Lotus, an episode where Family Guy parodies the TV show The White Lotus. So things start off pretty dark as the gang watches a child-sized coffin being loaded onto a plane.
It's awful, just awful.
I know, I'd be mad as hell if I died and they wouldn't even let my body ride back in first class. Instead, they've got to bum it with the luggage that's not even on the right plane. But turns out this is actually the end as we cut back to when everyone first arrives at a tropical resort being managed by Brian.
Working here has been just the change I needed. I made the choice to sober up and start a new clean life.
Sorry, but there's no way you can be surrounded by pina coladas and Mai Tais all day and not want a little taste. But not everyone gets the gist of what to do on this vacay.
Let's have crazy vacation right here, right now.
I don't know, maybe later.
But Stewie's using the opportunity to socialize and make new friends.
Would you join me, Jeffrey, and Dennis for dinner tonight?
It's still very funny that almost every adult can understand Stewie except his parents. Though, according to that season 24 trailer, all it takes to have Lois understand is to be high as a kite. And when Peter decides to enjoy some cheesecake rather than time with his wife, Lois decides to hang out with Quagmire instead.
Peter, I will not let you ruin another trip for me. Come on, Glenn, let's go see that lighthouse.
Sounds like a giggity to me. I miss the days when even the slightest innuendo would get a giggity out of Glenn.
I may just go upstairs real quick to change into a sarong.
I feel like I'd also like to slip into my sarong.
No idea what a sarong is, but this whole thing doesn't feel so right. It turns out I was right, because Lois and Quagmire just did one of the most unforgivable things imaginable.
Oh my God!
Not only did they eat Peter's cheesecake, but they left him with the mess to clean up. The absolute disrespect. Forget a divorce, that's grounds for a nuke.
I know you've been eating cheesecake with my wife behind my back. You left a used napkin in the couch.
Luckily, what happens at a tropical resort stays at a tropical resort, so Peter and Lois managed to put that betrayal behind them.
It's my fault too, Lois. I'm sorry I've been kind of neglecting you this trip.
Like I said earlier, Peter just likes to do the same things he does at home, but at a different location, like ignoring Lois. Meanwhile, Stewie starts to get worried when he overhears a very specific and not misleading choice of words from his new group.
We're all going to make a sacrifice.
Sacrifice?
Well, okay, but just so long as I can write a sacrifice off on my taxes.
They're going to make a sacrifice to the volcano, and I'm the only on this boat!
But when it comes to the sacrificing, it turns out they were being just a little dramatic.
The sacrifice is that we's posting a pic with no filter and no Photoshop.
I'd rather take a dip in a volcano than let you guys see me with no edits. It takes a whole team to get this clam looking as shiny and smooth as I do. Well, at least Stewie can rest easy knowing nobody has to die today.
Oh no!
I know! Oh right, we actually needed someone to die for the beginning to make sense. So if you thought that little coffin at the beginning was for Stewie, allow me to introduce you to my favorite fish, the red herring.
Where have you been?
At the duty-free shop, buying 6 cartons of cigarettes, a jug of Dior perfume, and a tin of wafer cookies.
Well, we all grieve in different ways. So this wasn't a super direct parody of the show, and we think it's all the better for that. It allows the characters to still be themselves rather than impersonations of other characters, leading to interactions and side plots that just make sense. It gives a ton of characters a lot to do, with moments like Chris and Meg trying to steal from a store being pretty funny. Some of the setups are just ripped straight from the show, but they found a spin to put on them to make this an episode that brought the laughs. And Lois would bring the laughs in Lois CK, where she becomes a stand-up comedian to air out her issues with Peter. So Lois has a big, exciting night ahead of her.
Tonight is girls' night.
Women's night, you're all in your 40s.
But once a girl, always a girl. You wouldn't say a butterfly isn't still a caterpillar, would you? Oh, you would? Well, that was the only analogy I had, so maybe Stewie's right.
You need to watch Stewie tonight while I'm out with the girls.
Women.
I'll be back in time, don't worry.
It was at that moment, dear viewers, that Lois should have realized he would not be back in time.
I can explain.
Don't bother.
Look, if you're not going to come home at the time your wife needs you, at least have the common courtesy to be dead. And just when Lois thought she could turn this night around, they make a grave realization.
Oh no, tonight's open mic night. These comics are always so hacky.
Yeah, the real comedians aren't going to be here. They're on TikTok making relatable videos and then getting canceled at lightning speed. But Lois was right, as her heckling gets more of a reaction than the actual comedy.
You Davy Jones lock a bit? There she blows!
Everyone thinks they're a comedian. Even a clam who's devoted its life to Family Guy believes in that pipe dream every now and then. Luckily, Lois has years of Peter material to pull from.
Yeah, I had to chisel his fat ass out of ice today. Yeah, who knew a 1-inch nub could shrink?
Good lord, he could have shot him live on stage and it wouldn't have been as brutal as that. But Lois's stand-up proves to be a hit and catches the attention of the right people.
I run a bunch of comedy clubs around the city and we're always looking for new talent. You interested?
Well, it's definitely cheaper than couples therapy, so sign her up. So Lois goes on quite the tour of every comedy hole in town, labeling herself as Lois CK. The CK stands for crowd killer, by the way. That's fine, that other guy kinda left the CK name up for grabs.
They are so brave.
You want to talk about brave? Try getting paid to tell jokes.
See, that would have been funny if that was a joke, but based on how she's sitting in that chair, you can tell she's serious.
I don't do jokes, I do truth.
And if someone doesn't stop her soon, the whole world may very well go blind. But she's not planning on slowing down, especially since she just landed a comedy special.
It tapes next week and they want a whole hour. I'm gonna need way more material.
Luckily, Peter's idiocy is just as recurring in this world as air and water. All he needs is a little push.
Lois gave me a bunch of cash, told me to get as drunk as I want, and then just do whatever pops into my head.
But it doesn't take long for Lois's comedy to hit the mainstream, which means it hits the hands of the guys.
She just held up a picture of me. Probably to show what the cuck doesn't look like.
Well, there's no easy way to say this, so I guess the guys will have to sign it. You can just hear the agony in those hand movements. So Peter decides to confront Lois about all this, but she doubles down.
You think Harry Potter was based on a true story?
Don't twist my words, all right? I said there are probably wizard schools.
Well, there is that school of magic in Poland, but the only spell you'll probably learn there is how to make $400 disappear. So it sounds like the only way to get Lois to stop is for Peter to stop giving her new material.
In a right triangle, the sine of a given angle is equal to the ratio of the side opposite that angle to the hypotenuse.
Dang it, is that right? I'm so far removed from school that I'm having to take Peter's word for it of all people.
Whatever this is, it won't last. Buffoonery is in your blood.
But this new intelligent life of Peter stays strong, leading to Lois being bone dry when it comes to material.
Well, how about deducting all those receipts from my kitchen table? You're too messy!
Well, there's only one way to go from here. Kill Lois before she kills all of comedy herself.
Well, we don't like your jokes, and Will Smith said we're allowed to hit comics.
But Peter steps in to make the save, leading to the two reconciling.
But you did what I wasn't willing to do for you. Protect my spouse from public ridicule.
Hey, all this led to Peter becoming more sophisticated, so can you really say this was a bad thing? Overall, we think this is one of the stronger episodes of the season. It's not a revolutionary Peter and Lois episode, but at least it knows how to end with some form of dignity and heart. Most of the jokes land as well, and there's some great cutaways from conspiracy theory Cheerios and the actual Sir Mix-a-Lot giving us a song about how much he loves knees. Incredible stuff. And Quagmire would find an incredible new girlfriend in the L Word, while Brian looks to control Stewie with a child leash and harness. So Quagmire's got himself a new lady friend, but he's being real hush-hush about the details.
Sorry guys, but this one's top secret.
Oh come on, at least give him a hint. Hair color, body build, is she at least alive? I think so, but I wouldn't put anything past Quagmire. And at the grocery store, Stewie has a very close call while in the parking lot.
Wow, that was close. I've never killed someone outside the hospital.
Though he has killed someone inside the hospital with his car. Look, surgeries can get boring. Gotta try to mix it up every now and then. So to make sure he can't run off again, Lois decides to make some precautions.
I want to make sure he cannot run away again. So, I bought this. It's a child harness.
Safe to say, Stewie is not a fan. Now, if it came in leather, he might change his tune. And when the guys go to retrieve Quagmire for their golf game, they get an eyeful of Glenn's mystery girl.
Oh my God! Quagmire and the librarian?
From Lois's friend to Quagmire's love interest? Man, congrats to the 5 of you who invested heavily in Elle the Librarian stocks this season. Obviously, the guys are very confused, but Quagmire seems to really like her.
She's nice, she's smart, and when you ask her where she wants to eat dinner, she always has a clear, confident answer.
You lie! I thought those kinds of people were only the stuff of legends. So if they're gonna be official, she's gonna need the friend group seal of approval.
I only even go to the library for the puppet show because I like King Puppet.
You mean this puppet?
Alright, so when's the wedding? But everything isn't as bright and sunny with Quell as they may think. Or is Elmire better? Who cares? They won't be together much longer.
Elf, what are you doing?
Oh, Glenn. Hi.
Just like a librarian to move in silence. But if they were getting along so well, what exactly is the problem here?
Problem is in bed. You've never given me an orgasm.
What?
Sorry, Quagmire, but we're gonna have to revoke your giggity privileges for this one. Looks like Joe gets the catchphrase now. Meanwhile, Brian's learning just how much control he has over Stewie with the leash.
Stewie, enough. We're not seeing animals singing. Ow! Okay, we'll see yours instead.
Careful, Brian. Pull any harder and Stewie just might fall in love with you. So now Brian can pretty much use the threat of the leash to make Stewie do whatever he wants.
I have to change my flight, and I need you to wait on hold for me.
Oh, come on, that'll take forever.
Who even calls people anymore? I'd rather waste my money on a flight than try to speak to a stranger over the phone. I'm very well adjusted, as you can tell. But Brian eventually sees the error of his ways, realizing he's become what he's always hated.
I've become the power-hungry, inhumane dog owner that I despise. I'm sorry, Stewie.
Yeah, the leash thing is pretty harsh, but have you ever seen that video of the eagle trying to pick up that kid? It's not real, but real enough that you may just want to buy your kids a collar. And after a bit of self-loathing, Quagmire decides he's not ready to give up on Elle yet.
I took your criticism to heart, and I'm here to let you know I've upped my game.
Sounds exciting, but also terrifying. This must have been what it was like when Goku ascended to a new level of Super Saiyan.
Are you sure you can handle me?
Better question, can you handle me?
Evidently, being intimate with Elle has the same effect as watching the videotape from The Ring. This is definitely one of the better outings of the season, with both plots being pretty funny while giving new character dynamics to Brian and Quagmire. Plus, we always love it when the show gives minor characters like Elle a bit more airtime. And Quagmire and Brian would get into a fight over Brian's barking and 1 foot in front of the mother, while Chris's new speedwalking hobby threatens to steal Lois's friends from her. So Quagmire's doing something weird. He's weird all the time, but like extra weird this time.
Ah, damn it! I'm gonna kill you, Brian!
But Brian's just protecting the neighborhood. That sick freak wants to come around sticking his hand in mailboxes? I don't care if he's the mailman. Brian needs to stop him.
My bark is the only thing keeping these predators at bay.
Now, if only Herbert wasn't mostly deaf, it'd probably work on him too. But Quagmire decides to go to the law to fix this problem.
This here's a court order that says you have to wear a bark collar until the complainant is satisfied.
Oh, so now the police can govern how much you shout? This is that business with my ex-wife all over again. But elsewhere in the neighborhood, Lois expresses her concerns about Chris's weight while the gals are out speedwalking.
I'm afraid he could end up with serious medical issues. I mean, maybe even a wheelchair someday.
Yeah, but look at Joe. He's leading well, it's a life, I guess.
Or maybe there's a sport Chris could get involved in?
You know what? That's a great idea.
Yeah, sports always need a big old boy for their roster. Chris could make a good safety or blocker or someone who just gets the team's food orders. That's what I did, and I'd like to think I was the MVP. So Chris tries a few sports, including shot put and wrestling.
By God, it's the Griffinator from the top rope! Yeah!
I see he studied at the school of ECW, where the only thing you gotta worry about is how loud a noise you can make when chair meets skull. But a number 2 emergency seems to awaken Chris's true calling.
Chris is using his hips to generate speed without dilating his...
Who knew the most important part of your body for speed walking wasn't your legs? Finally, a sport where it's the time to shine. While he's doing that, Brian's handling the bark collar not well.
Ow, damn it! Ow!
Effective. We might have to start throwing those at members of Congress. Oh god, I'm starting to sound like later seasons Joe. So if Brian's gonna get that thing off, he's gonna need to play by Quagmire's rules.
I want to hear you purr.
I can't. I won't.
Definitely not the first time that request has been asked in this house, but 2 can play at this bark collar game.
What the hell? Ah! Ha ha! Ah! Ha ha! Ah!
I guess the only shocking thing Quagmire likes involves car batteries and clamps. And now that Chris has found his calling, Lois invites him to start tagging along on the girls' walks.
This next hill is really gonna test our mettle, so why don't you ladies draft off me until we get to the top?
Look, I can accept this silly walk is considered a sport, but that doesn't mean I gotta like it. And it looks like Lois might start hating it too, since Chris starts using it to poach her friends.
What are you ladies doing here? We didn't have a walk planned today.
Oh, we're here for Chris.
Sorry, Lois, but you're just cramping the group's style. The last thing they want is to look ridiculous while speed walking around town. And when walks turn to brunch dates, Lois has no choice but to dethrone Chris if she wants to win her friends back.
Well, I'm gonna prove Chris is the same little turd he was a week ago by beating him in a race walk.
That'll teach Chris for gaining confidence in himself. Later that night, the bark collar controversy comes to a head when Quagmire's targeted by a pack of coyotes.
Help! Help! Help!
Somebody's in trouble at Quagmire's.
So I guess all that barking at nothing was barking at something. Well, that's the last time I get mad at a dog for barking at 4 a.m. Luckily, Brian knows how to weaponize his curse. Well, that was shockingly effective. Think I just felt our subscriber count drop with that one. But this display of bravery earns Brian some respect from Quagmire, at least just for today. And the next morning, Lois and Chris have their speed walk race, narrated by not Christopher Walken.
That's a mighty fine walk-in, and I should know, cause for laughter.
I don't get it. Anyway, as they close in on the finish line with Chris in the lead, the prodigal son decides to throw it.
Oh no, he's injured his hamstring. Dramatic music.
Another star athlete shot down in his prime. And all before he got his big brand deals and numerous steroid accusations. But it was all for a good cause, as he realized that Lois needs her friends more than he does.
You looked out for me by getting me involved in sports, now I'm looking out for you.
Another pretty solid outing with two pretty good stories running parallel. We're always down for more Brian and Quagmire blood feuds, while the Chris and Lois story managed to be funny with just a tinge of heart. Honestly, it's a win for us just for the animation of Chris's speed walk. The very definition of hips that won't quit. And Meg would receive a win when she finds a boyfriend in The Chicken or the Meg, but it turns out to be the son of Peter's greatest enemy. So a farm-themed dating show is coming to Quahog, and Meg sees this as her chance to be a real filthy animal.
This is gonna be awesome! I'm gonna try out.
Finally, a chance for Meg to let out her inner furry. I'm sure that'll be just as unnerving as it sounds. Thankfully, the auditions don't require skill or looks. You just need to have not said some messed up stuff on social media.
Now, I see you've never retweeted Bo and Yang. Why?
I see that I was wrong.
Props to Meg for even knowing who that was. If they'd asked me that question, they'd probably blacklist me. So Meg makes her way onto the show, where she must try to make a connection with someone while dressed as an animal.
I'm ready to swine and dine. Oink, oink, boink, boink.
Man, Peppa Pig has seen better days. The child star to weird adult pipeline continues. But after Meg struggles to make a connection with anyone on the show, Meg finally finds someone willing to give her a peck.
I like you. You don't try very hard.
Oh, I'm trying very hard.
Look, if this show can make me believe in a dog and a woman getting together, what's the harm in seeing some chicken and pig companionship? Probably a lot genetically, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So the two grow closer, but we all know that if a love can't survive reality TV, it probably can't survive IRL.
And the first eliminated couple is... Pig and Chicken!
Well, time to try dating in the real world. What's the hot new dating app the kids are using nowadays? LinkedIn?
I'm just worried you won't be as attracted to me when I take this off.
You're dressed like a pig. I'll take my chances.
Alright, you asked for it, buddy. But the chicken actually finds her beautiful, so now all that matters is that she feels the same way about him.
And I don't care what you look like under that mask.
That's good because... I'm a chicken.
Oh, this show and its interspecies relationships. Sorry, but you're not gonna propaganda me. It already took years of therapy to get over Lola Bunny. But the two kids seem to hit it off well, proving to be quite the loving couple.
I love you, Meg. And not just because you have egg in your name.
I love you too, Nugget.
Hey, people have gotten married for much dumber reasons. But in case you've forgotten, this is the son of the giant chicken. If there were to be a wedding, it would probably be a bloody one.
This is my boyfriend, Nugget. His father is the giant chicken.
Look, I feel for Peter. Can Meg just, for once, have a boyfriend that isn't the son of his mortal enemy, one of his best friends, a convict, or a figment of her imagination? Really doesn't seem like an unreasonable ask. But Peter tries his best to put aside his feelings, and by he tries, I mean not at all.
What's your guys' Wi-Fi password?
It's chickens are scum and then 22 exclamation points.
He's out of line, but that's one heck of a secure password. But Peter's had enough and gives Meg an old tomato and an ultimatum.
You either break up with him or you break up with me. You can't date us both.
Dad, you and I aren't dating.
Are you saying what you two had wasn't real? Wasn't passion? You're willing to throw all those years of not dating down the drain?
If you don't accept Nugget, you don't accept me. I'm moving in with him.
Normally, I think Peter would be pretty excited about that. He could finally turn Meg's room into a movie theater like he always wanted. But after a while, he can't help but miss his little girl.
What do you say we go to the giant chicken's house and get my daughter back?
Yeah, time to get the family punching bag back. So the guys go to the chicken's house to break a few yolks. Maybe some bones if it came to it.
I'm here to get my daughter back.
She's not coming with you. She's perfectly happy here.
Yeah, kinda hard to choose between the house that beats you and the house that has eggs on deck every single day.
Dad, I told you, Nugget and his family treat me better than you guys ever did, and I won't be coming home.
So Meg stays put, but can't exactly subscribe to their family motto of hating Peter.
Meg, either you hate your dad or you leave this house.
An old tomato. You're just like him.
Well, not quite. The giant chicken does have some common decency.
Wait, I can't hit you. You're a girl.
Huh.
Meg does not. So Meg kills the chicken and returns home, ending a fairly fun episode. We guess our main gripe is that there's never really a great reason for Meg to return home. Peter does little to express his regret for driving her away, which would have been a great way to show how he's better than the chicken. But other than that, the episode does pack some decent jokes and solid appearances from both a new character and some well-liked veterans like the chicken and Corey. It comes so close to being the best, but it should still be recognized as being one of the more notable episodes of the season. And our favorite of season 23 has to be Dog is My Co-Pilot, where Brian and Quagmire end up touring together after Brian averts a plane crash. So Brian's taken up a new hobby to further distract him from trying to be a writer.
For the last week, Brian's been getting into some stupid flight simulator game.
It's not stupid, and I'm fairly amazing at it.
Oh yeah? What kind of DLC does it have? Battle Pass? Open world? A card collecting feature built into the game you'll look at once and never touch again? Doesn't sound not stupid to me. Elsewhere, Lois decides to gift Stewie her Easy Bake Oven from when she was a girl.
I love trucks and dinosaurs. Oh my god, Rupert, I've always wanted an Easy Bake Oven.
Hey, cooking is just as manly as anything else. I bet you Gordon Ramsay had one too, though I'm not sure if it also taught him all those colorful swears. And when Stewie starts cooking up some pizza, they catch the eye of Chris.
You know, I feel like maybe you and I could open up a really successful boutique pizza place.
Well, Stewie would need a guy who does nothing but still ends up sharing a lot of the credit. It's just the formula for a successful business. Elsewhere, Brian decides to take his flight game skills and apply them to real life.
Yeah, I took what you said the other night to heart, and I've enrolled in a flight training school in Florida called Huffman Aviation.
Hey, if that one kid could go from Gran Turismo gamer to professional racer, who says Brian can't do the same with flying? I do, because it's Brian. But a sudden outbreak of food poisoning on board gives Brian the perfect opportunity to show his skills.
I'm taking over.
No, Brian, don't you touch anything.
Look, I got this.
Sorry to everyone who bet money on Brian not having this, because with a little coaching from Quagmire, he actually manages to land the plane successfully.
I don't believe it. He actually pulled it off.
You hate to see a dog like Brian succeed in anything, but you gotta hand it to him on this one. And not only that, but the city decides to honor Brian for his bravery and Quagmire for his sink pooping.
Quite an honor for you two today.
Is there a question in there?
Honestly, Tom, I was just grateful to be on scene and able to help.
Clearly, you can just tell that these two love being around each other, so why not send them on a press tour to tell their story?
It'll be great PR. You saved a ton of lives. You're actually friends.
Looks like someone hasn't made it to our Brian and Quagmire video yet. Somebody should pass that along before he loses a ton of money.
Just so we get the on-screen labels correct, you're the one who landed the plane, and you're the one who pooped in the sink.
Yeah, all it takes is one bad moment to ruin your credibility for life. Don't worry, Glenn, you're in good company with that Hawk Tua girl. Meanwhile, Stewie and Chris's pizza shop has been a success, earning them a visit from Dave Portnoy.
Who's Dave Portnoy?
He's like if a high school athlete got one genie wish.
Good enough for me. But what's not good is that the old oven is finally giving out.
Oh, this is not good. The light bulb in the Easy Bake Oven burned out.
Unfortunately, that's a light bulb from the 60s and isn't exactly sold in stores anymore. If only they knew of someone ancient enough who may have something like that.
Oh, there you are, Jesse.
You really gotta wonder if this pizza shop is worth getting scarred for life over. And while on tour, Quagmire's constant disrespect causes him to call it quits on being a pilot.
Not only am I not getting the respect I deserve, but I'm the punchline in a story where you're the hero!
The Matrix couldn't have thought up a more nightmarish world for Quagmire to live in than this. Time for him to hop on Indeed and apply to jobs that don't exist like the rest of us. Meanwhile, Stewie manages to steal the light bulb they need from Herbert while Chris shows off a little skin. They don't tell you this about running a restaurant, but this is actually a pretty fairly common business practice. But unfortunately, the Popo shut him down.
Do you have a handicap access ramp?
No?
You people are animals! I'm shutting this place down!
Well, better they get closed down for that rather than people realizing they've just been eating overbaked Play-Doh. And since Brian feels bad about killing Quagmire's career, he decides to stage an accident to give him a heroic moment.
I may have unplugged his insulin pump, but I'm guessing somebody knows how to drive this thing.
Because a boat is totally the same thing as an airplane. The airplanes of the water, they call them. But Quagmire does manage to save the day. It just takes some light property damage and scaring people away from the water for life.
On the bright side, you saved all these people on the duck boat. The media will definitely recognize you as a hero now.
Or do everything in their power to make sure he's never behind the wheel of a vehicle again. While the Stewie and Chris side plot is kind of forgettable, the Quagmire and Brian story brings it all up, thanks to a great use of their dynamic that sees Quagmire getting the short end of the stick for a change. Really, anytime these two get to torture each other is a good time in our books, so it makes sense that this would be our favorite episode of Season 23. And that's our final ranking. Be sure to let us know if you agree with our takes, and as always, like and subscribe if you want to see more great Family Guy content.
Let go, let go, let go.